What's up, guys? This is Dino here, and today I'm back with the much awaited second part of the What If Ash Was Born in the Dragon Clan series. Now, before we begin this part, I would like to confirm that we have hit 150 subscribers, which is awesome. But there will be no subscriber special what ifs for a while now, because as I keep making newer and newer stories, I don't get time to actually work on my older stories and complete them. So once I've completed at least one of my old stories, whether it be Ash waking up on time, this one or the Naruto one, or my older what ifs, I will not be beginning any newer what ifs because then it all gets cramped up and it's difficult for you guys to watch them. So for now, I'll be sticking to three what ifs at a time, and that sounds okay to me. And before we begin the story, I would like to wish everyone in India a very happy Independence Day. And with that out of the way, we get right into the story. What if Ash was born in the Dragon Clan? Part 2. Now, in the first part, we saw Ash begin his journey with a Larvitar which was rejected by multiple trainers before. However, despite being at a disadvantage from the very start and losing a battle or two, Ash managed to train up his Larvitar and bond with it, and this allowed him to not only defeat one of the Rocket Grunts, but also save a rare Pokemon. Of course, he had help from a mysterious trainer named Silver, and in the last part, the story ended with Ash arriving in New Bark Town and meeting Professor Elm for the first time. Now we continue the journey. Ash arrived in Newburgh town and immediately went running to Professor Elm, asking him to help him heal his Larvitar up, as it was not only poisoned but also really damaged from the earlier battles against Team Rocket. Professor Elm immediately invited Ash into his lab and, using the healing machine, healed up Larvitar. After this, he introduced Ash introduced himself to Professor Elm, and Professor Elm said that he had heard a lot about the Dragon Clan. In fact, he met Lance not too long ago. Ethan, who was the young trainer alongside Professor Elm, also introduced Ash and told him that he was also starting out on his Pokemon journey. Professor Elm then asked Ash if Larvitar was the only Pokemon he had with him up to this point, as he traveled all the way through Blackthorn City. Ash says that actually he accidentally stumbled onto Newbark Town and told them the entire story of him chasing Team Rocket, getting the rare Pokemon, and being saved by the mysterious trainer with the Totodile. At the mention of Totodile, both Professor Elm and Ethan start to question Ash about the appearance of this mysterious trainer. And Ash described him as having red hair, and they immediately confirmed that this is the trainer who stole the Totodile from the lab. Professor Elm tells them that he will immediately report it to the local authorities. Ash also asks for another favor. He shows them the rare Pokemon that he had been hiding in his cave. Professor Elm told Ash that he had never seen this Pokemon before, but by the looks of it, it looks like a baby. And Ash tells him that if is there any way he could scan it in his Pokédex. Professor Elm tells that he also has the regional dex and not the national dex at this point. But Ash is lucky as Ethan is setting out to the north of Cherry Grove Town to meet Mr. Pokemon, and if they are lucky, they may find Professor Oak there as he visits his friend from time to time. And Professor Oak must have heard or at least seen this Pokemon before. So with that, Ash and Ethan both set out for Cherry Grove City. However, when they arrive at Cherry Grove City, they are confronted by Silver. Silver asks Ash if his weakling Larvitar has healed up yet. Ash immediately takes offense to this and tells Silver to return the Totodile immediately. Silver is confused by this, but then he puts two and two together. He saw Ethan at the lab before, so he assumes that they both are here to catch him and take him to the local authorities. He immediately sends out Totodile to defend himself and tells Ash, is this a way to treat someone who just saved your butt? Ash tells him that Silver also stole a Pokemon, so that makes him no different than Team Rocket. Silver contradicts this and says that because Team Rockets are weaklings, they don't deserve a Pokemon. He, on the other hand, is going to be the strongest trainer in the world, so it makes sense for him to have such a strong Pokemon in Totodile. Ash is about to battle him, but Ethan tells him to stay back, as he will take Silver on himself. He sends out his Cyndaquil, and although Cyndaquil puts up a valiant effort and manages to hurt Totodile a couple of times, the water advantage is just too much, and Cyndaquil is taken down by a water gun. Silver then turns his attention to Ash and the rare Pokemon he has with him. He tells him that he cannot believe he let this opportunity pass away, but if Team Rocket was indeed going to poach this Pokemon, there must be something very special about it, and that's why he is going to take it away. Larvitar immediately steps in front of the Pokemon, wanting to defend it, but is immediately taken down by the much more powerful Totodile. As Totodile starts to beat on Larvitar, the rare Pokemon starts to rise up and glow. With a bright purple flash, it sends both Totodile and Silver flying away. Ash shields Larvitar from the attack, and when Silver runs away, both he and Ethan look at the Pokemon confused. It is really tired after exerting so much energy, and Ethan tells him that they should go to the Pokemon Center before going any further. After they heal up in the Pokemon Center, they continue their journey onto Mr. Pokemon's house. There, Ash catches a male Nidoran, and Ethan catches a Panpy. After walking for a few more minutes, they arrive at Mr. Pokemon's house, and luckily, Professor Oak is also there. Prof- Mr. Pokemon gives both Ash and Ethan a Pokemon egg to hold on to, as he needs to conduct an experiment to see whether eggs hatch while traveling with trainers. Ash introduces himself to Professor Oak and asks him about the rare Pokemon he has with him. Professor Oak tells him that this Pokemon looks like the legendary Pokemon of Hoenn, that being Latias. However, it is still really young, and that's why it has trouble unleashing its true power. He advises Ash to catch it and keep it with him until he finds what to do with it. However, Ash tells him that it's not really fond of going into the Pokeballs, as it was captured in a cage. Professor Oak tells him that it's alright and gives him a odd looking Pokeball. He tells him that this is a friend ball, and this is specially designed for those Pokemon who would not want to stay in normal Pokeballs. Ash tests this and offers Latias to go inside, and the warm feeling coming from the Apricot-made Pokeball immediately convinces Latias to go inside, making it Ash's third official Pokemon, excluding the egg. Professor Oak tells Ash and Ethan to visit Kurt in Azalea Town, as he is the one who is master in making Pokeballs out of Apricorns. He also tells him that he will be heading off to Goldenrod City to attend his radio show. And after this, Ethan also tells Ash that he will take this Pokemon egg back to Professor Elm to examine it, and and he possibly meet Ash again in Violet City after they both have had their gym battles. Ash accepts this challenge and bids farewell to Ethan, heading off to Violet City. However, once again, as he arrives to Violet City, he is met by Silver. Ash is on his guard, but Silver tells him not to worry about it, as he is in a foul mood and would not want to waste his time on weaklings like Ash. Ash asks him what happened, and he tells him that when he went into the Sprout Tower for training, he was rejected by the elders, saying that he did not have a pure heart. He calls all this a bunch of hoopla and leaves, going in going west towards the next town, as he already had his gym badge. Ash thinks about it, and after considering the fact that he lost his last battle against Silver pretty badly, he thinks that he needs to train, and that's why he goes on to the Spout Tower. There he meets the Elder, and after watching Ash and his Pokemon for a while, the Elder comes to the conclusion that Ash has a pure heart and thus deems him worthy of his training. He tells him that this training will involve three phases, and this would take a while depending on the talent Ash has. So if he wants to withdraw right now, he could just do that. Ash, however, being honest with himself, knows that he needs this training to get his Pokemon to the next level, or there is no way he can win the gym badge. So he agrees to this. Over the next few days, Ash enrolls in a rigorous training camp, going up and down the Sprout Tower every day to toughen up himself and his Pokemon. The first test is against the Elder's Bellsprout. The Elder tells Ash not to use any long range attacks and try to hit Bellsprout using physical attacks close range attacks only. So Ash sends out his Nidoran and Larvitar, and they both try to hit Bellsprout. This goes on for 2 days, and finally they are both able to defeat Bellsprout in straight hand-to-hand combat. After this, the next test is against the Elder's Weeping Bell, and this is of long-range attacks. They both engage Weeping Bell using Poison Sting and Rock Throw respectively, and this also takes 2 days before they are each able to defeat the Weeping Bell. Their final test is against Victory Bell, and this time Latias is allowed to join in. And this is a real tough one, as their test is to defeat Victory Bell in a straight up battle. Everything allowed. And although this takes a while, 3 days to be exact, they are finally able to bring down Victory Bell. And after this, the Elder tells Ash that his training is complete and also gives him a Soothe Bell for his reward. After this training, Ash finally goes on to challenge Faulkner, the gym leader of Violet City. Faulkner accepts this challenge and tells Ash that this will be a 3-on-3 battle. Faulkner starts off with his Hoot Hoot and Ash sends in Nidoran. Nidoran immediately starts off with Poison Sting, but Hoot Hoot easily dodges it and dives for a peck attack. Nidoran counters it with its own peck, with both colliding and proving to be even in power. Nidoran then leaps off once again and hits Hoot Hoot with a double kick, sending it crashing downwards. He follows it up by using a horn attack which takes Hoot Hoot out. The next Pokemon that Faulkner sends out is Doduo. Nidoran starts off starts off with Poison Sting, but Doduo is easily able to dodge and connect with a peck attack. Nidoran once again tries a peck attack of its own, but is once again dodged and intercepted. The speed advantage proves to be too much, and after battling two opponents, Nidoran is finally taken out. However, Ash congratulates it and tells it that their fruits of training had finally paid off. The next Pokemon Ash sends out is his Larvitar. Larvitar immediately goes for Rock Throw. However, Doduo jumps up and tries to connect with a jump kick. Ash also orders Larvitar to jump up, and this is once again the result of their training with Bellsprout. Jump kick misses and causes huge damage to Doduo. Larvitar follows this up by a powerful rock throw which takes down the flying type. The final Pokemon in Faulkner's arsenal is Pidgeotto, and it immediately starts off with a Mud Slap attack, causing super effective damage. Larvitar tries to hit it with a rock throw. However, Pidgeotto uses Double Team to evade the attack. Pidgeotto then picks Larvitar up in its legs and throws it down, causing it to crash and take huge damage. Larvitar once again goes for rock throw. However, this time Ash orders Larvitar to jump on top of the rocks to get in close on Pidgeot. This works. This works, and Larvitar is able to connect with a tackle attack on Pidgeot. However, Pidgeot shakes Larvitar off and sends it to the ground once again. Larvitar is able to connect with one more rock throw before it's taken down by one another mud slap. This leaves Ash with his Latias, and Latias tries its best to counter and damage Pidgeot. However, it's immediately caught with a mud slap attack once again. Latias counters with a confusion attack, causing some major damage to Pidgeot. However, Pidgeot once again shakes it off and grabs Latias, sending it crashing backwards just like it did to Larvitar. However, Latias tries to recover as it rises up once again, taking it to the air. A strange aura starts to surround Latias as it prepares a special attack. This takes the shape of a mysterious ball which Latias sends at Pidgeot. Ash checks his Pokédex and finds this attack to be called Mist Wall, the special attack of Latias. Although it's still not in its full power because of Latias being so young, it is able to hit Pidgeot and cause major damage. And this takes down Faulkner's last Pokemon and gives Ash his first ever gym battle victory and the Zephyr badge. Faulkner congratulates Ash and tells him that he should head to Azalea Town next, as he is confident that Ash will be able to beat the next gym leader as well. Ash thanks him and asks Faulkner for a rematch once he has a full team. Faulkner gladly agrees to this and tells him that he hopes Ash goes on to win the Pokemon League. And guys, that will bring an end to this part. That for the next part, we have to hit 15 likes. I know I said 10 likes in the previous part, and you guys hit about 80 likes, so that's really awesome. Uh, and thank you so much for watching. If you want to give any suggestions regarding Ash's Pokemon or where the story should take place, or if future events of any of my stories, feel free to join the Discord. The link will be provided in the description below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching, guys. Stay safe and God bless.